What's up, guys? We're in the garage today, and today I'm hoping to do a little build series on my solid axle swap of my Tacoma. So this is going to be the first video in what I hope to be a little series. Probably going to take me like 10 years to build this thing because I am not rich by any means, but I figured it would be fun to show you guys what I've got going on so far and what my plans are, and so you guys can tell me I'm an idiot. So let's get into what I've bought so far and where I think I'm going to go with this guy. So I guess I'll start with the axles because that's really the most important part. So this one's from a 2006 F250 Super Duty. It's a Dana 60. That's right, I'm going full widths on this bad boy. I took 2 inches back right here because I'm going to run a truss on it. And then the casting used to come up to like here, and that's not enough space to weld anything to, so you have to cut that back. And then as far as a 3-link, there's no like specific kit I'm going to get. I'm just going to kind of piece together what I'm gonna need because they don't really make a kit with a truss. As far as the knuckles, I'm gonna do high steer. I'm gonna get a weld-on kit to go here. I'm gonna replace the ball joints because these guys are a little blown out. The axle claimed to have like 150,000 miles on it, so I guess that's about right. So I got this guy here. This is a Toyota steering box from a FJ80, so a Land Cruiser. So actually, funny story about this, I was doing some off-roading and I found a rolled over what I thought was a 4Runner. So I went and poked around in it and I saw it still had this, and I knew I was going to need a steering box. So I was like, well, this thing's been here for months. I may as well put good use to these parts on here. The axles had already been stripped. The car had clearly been there for a while. It had been picked pretty clean, but this guy was still on there. So I came back the next day with parts and I pulled it off, and then when I was pulling it off, I went, hold on, this isn't a 4Runner. This has link suspension, or it had link suspension. I wasn't really sure what it was because it was so crumpled. So when I got home, I did some Googling and found out it was a good old 80 series Land Cruiser. So that was pretty neat. The difference, I guess, with between the IFS steering box, which most people use, and the Land Cruiser steering box is the direction that I believe this is the Pitman arm swings. So on the IFS box, this box actually sits on this side of the axle, so the front side, and this points backwards. On the FJs, or the Land Cruisers, this sits behind the axle and points forward. I was doing some research and I honestly think this is going to work better because I'm going to push the axle forward a few inches so I can put this more on the sturdier, thicker part of my frame rather than all the way on the very, very front that a lot of people do. I'm going to drill and tap it. I think you just drill and tap it the same way as an IFS box. So I got to put a hole here and tap it, and a hole, I think it's here or something over here. Whatever. I'll figure it out when it's time to do it. Let's go over to the rear axle. So this is a Sterling 10.5 from a 2009 F250. So 2006, 2009, they didn't change anything between the axles, because I believe 2010 up they made some changes to the front and rear, but these ones are the same generation, they go together basically. It is disc brakes, which is nice. I know you're looking at a drum brake right there, but that's how the parking brake works. I got all the discs right here. I am missing the calipers for the front. Well, I'll just go to the junkyard or order them online or whatever. They're not too bad. And then as far as like differentials and whatnot, I got them hiding in here. So these were both complete axles. So you can see I got the Sterling 10.5, the Dana 60. I just kind of got them separated in there. They do need to be cleaned, and I'm going to re-gear them anyway, so I'm not super concerned about getting dust and whatnot on them. As far as gearing, I'm going to go with 5/38 because I can run a 40-inch tire, and that's pretty close to my stock gear ratio to tire size on the Tacoma. I'm going to run a Yukon Grizzly locker in the rear, and then a Spartan locker in the front. I'm just doing auto lockers for now because they're cheap, and I have a Spartan locker in the front of my truck, and I'm super happy with it. The rear is going to stay on leaf springs. I'm probably going to get some Chevy 63 springs. Probably a U-bolt eliminator kit from Barnes that just kind of welds back onto there. I'm probably going to run a 14 or 16-inch coilover. It just depends what I can fit underneath my truck. That's pretty much what I got going on here. So I think the next thing I'm going to buy are the high steer for this and maybe a truss for this guy. So stay tuned if you want to see how this truck turns out. Later.